Hello, you're watching movie Snapshot scenes, and this is the summary of Alice in Wonderland. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. In Victorian England, beneath the weight of corsets and expectations, lives a young woman named Alice Kingsley. She is 19, clever and curious, born into a world that wants her to follow rules, marry well, and stop asking strange questions. But Alice dreams of impossible things. She remembers odd visions from childhood, talking rabbits, mad tea parties, grinning cats. She was told they were only dreams, but deep down, she's never believed that. At a garden party, surrounded by polished guests and careful smiles, Alice is stunned when Hamish Ascot, a dull and proper suitor, proposes to her. The crowd watches. Her mother urges her to accept, but Alice sees a white rabbit in a waistcoat. It checks a pocket watch. It runs, and Alice, in that moment, chooses not the ring, but the chase. She follows the rabbit across the lawn, through the hedges, into the forest, and there, hidden beneath the roots of an ancient tree, is a hole. Without a second thought, Alice falls. She tumbles down and down through spinning mirrors, floating furniture, swirling lights. The world twists around her. Reality bends. She lands in a strange round room filled with locked doors and a bottle labeled "Drink Me." She is back. Though she doesn't know it yet, she has returned to Underland, a world she once knew as a child, but misnamed Wonderland. The land has changed, so has she. She meets Tweedledee and Tweedledum, strange and rotund twins who argue in riddles. She encounters a blue caterpillar named Absalem, who smokes and speaks in cryptic truths. He tells her she is not yet Alice. Everyone is unsure if she's the right one, the girl who once visited, the one from the old prophecy. The white rabbit insists she is. The others doubt it, because the fate of Underland now depends on a warrior. Someone brave enough to slay the Jabberwocky, the terrible beast of the Red Queen. But Alice is not a warrior. She's just a girl who fell down a hole, or so she believes. Alice wanders deeper into Underland, where reality shatters like porcelain and logic has long since vanished. The sky shifts colors. Trees whisper. Time doesn't seem to matter. She's searching for answers. What she finds is madness. Led by the white rabbit and watched by the mysterious Cheshire cat, Alice stumbles upon a crooked table in the middle of the forest. Teacups clink, chairs float, and riddles fill the air. It's a mad tea party, and at the head of the table sits the one and only Mad Hatter, Tarrant Hightop, wild orange hair, mismatched eyes, and a voice that dances between accents. He doesn't just speak, he performs. But beneath the nonsense, there's sadness. He knows her, or thinks he does. You've lost your muchness, he tells her. You used to be much more mushier. Alice insists she's never been here before, but the Hatter believes otherwise. He remembers a younger Alice, the one who fought, laughed, believed in impossible things. The world has changed since she left. The Red Queen, cruel and power-hungry, has seized control. Her army of card soldiers and Stain, the Knave of Hearts, rules through fear. Her monstrous pet, the Bandersnatch, terrifies the land. She hunts anyone loyal to the White Queen or the Hatter's people. When her forces discover the tea party, chaos erupts. The Hatter grabs Alice's hand. They run, through woods and ruins, over crumbling bridges and forgotten memories. He hides her in his broken hat factory. Once filled with colour and joy, now silent under the Red Queen's shadow. There, Alice sees the pain beneath his madness. He isn't just strange, he's wounded. The Red Queen destroyed his home, his friends, his freedom. And yet, he still smiles, still hosts tea, still believes in something better. Alice, confused and uncertain, doesn't know what to believe. She doesn't want to be a warrior. She wants to wake up, but the Hatter looks at her with fire in his eyes. You may be only one, but sometimes one is enough. Alice may not remember who she was, But Underland hasn't forgotten. The Red Queen rules with fear. Her castle rises jagged and tall, surrounded by thorny hedges and moats filled with creatures that glare and growl. Inside, everything is twisted. Oversized furniture, warped colors, and trembling servants who fake loyalty with terrified smiles. Her favorite phrase, "Off with their heads." Her victims don't always do wrong. Sometimes they're simply too tall, too pretty, or too smart. Her court is filled with forced laughter and silent dread. At her side stands Stain, the Knave of Hearts. Dark, cunning, and cruel. He is her enforcer, the blade behind her crown. When the Bandersnatch fails to capture Alice, the Red Queen demands to know who this girl is. A prophecy has long haunted her. A girl named Alice will return and slay the Jabberwocky on Frabuse Day, ending her reign. She fears this Alice. So when Stain captures a shrinking Alice, now tiny from another magical potion, he brings her to the castle, but he doesn't recognize her. She uses the alias from Umbridge, and the Red Queen, vain and desperate for approval, welcomes her as a guest. Alice plays along. She navigates the Queen's madness with caution, observing her twisted court and secretly planning her escape. She finds the Vorpal sword, the only weapon that can defeat the Jabberwocky, locked in the Queen's keep. But it's guarded, and without her true size or confidence, Alice can't wield it yet. Meanwhile, the Mad Hatter has been captured while helping Alice escape earlier. He's brought before the Queen to design new hats, forced to entertain her, with jokes and style, while he hides his true defiance behind a crooked grin. He spots Alice. They share a glance, a spark of hope in a castle built on fear. But time is running out. The White Queen, exiled and peaceful, must be warned. And Alice must decide if she'll run or rise. The Red Queen may have power, but Alice has something greater. Purpose, even if she doesn't know it yet. She begins to remember the girl she once was, not in dreams, but in choice. Inside the Red Queen's twisted palace, Alice grows bolder. She sneaks through corridors, avoids the knave's gaze, and uncovers the secrets hiding in every hall. She knows now, the Vorpal sword must be returned to its rightful place, and Frabuse Day is fast approaching. With the help of the Cheshire Cat, who appears and disappears with his sly grin, Alice escapes the castle. Floating over the battlefield as a ghostly illusion, the cat distracts the guards while Alice flees with the sword. She runs through forests and nightmares, chased by the Red Queen's soldiers and haunted by doubts. But Underland seems to protect her now. The trees bend away from danger. The winds push her forward. Finally, she arrives at the sanctuary of the White Queen. Gentle, graceful, and glowing like moonlight. Her castle is elegant and calm, a reflection of the peace she hopes to bring back to the land. The White Queen welcomes Alice without question. She believes. She always has. Here, Alice finds warmth and safety. The Vorpal sword is returned to its pedestal, and the castle prepares for the coming battle. Banners rise, creatures gather, centaurs, talking animals, loyal knights, all ready to stand against the Red Queen's darkness. But the prophecy still hangs in the air. Only Alice can defeat the Jabberwocky, and Alice is not sure she believes it. She stares at the sword. It glows with ancient power, but her hands tremble. She is not the Alice they remember, not yet. In the garden, she finds Absalom, the blue caterpillar, once again. He looks at her with knowing eyes. "Who are you?" he asks. And this time, she answers with quiet certainty. "I'm Alice. Not the girl from the past, not someone else's version, but herself. The moment of truth is near. Frabuse Day is tomorrow, the day the Jabberwocky must fall, the day the chains of fear may break." Alice stands before the White Queen, no longer lost, no longer small. She is ready to fight, not because of a prophecy, but because she chooses to. The morning sky turns silver over Underland. It is Frabuse Day. In the White Queen's castle, the air is heavy with anticipation. armies gather on the open field, creatures of every kind, ready to fight for freedom. Banners ripple in the wind. The vorpal sword shines in the hands of the one who must wield it, Alice. She steps forward, armored and brave, no longer a girl running from her path, but a woman walking into destiny. Not because fate demands it, but because she chooses to stand for what's right. Across the battlefield, the Red Queen's army rises, card soldiers in jagged lines, the Knave of Hearts by her side, and in the shadows above, a monstrous silhouette moves. The Jabberwocky, a winged beast born of nightmare and fire, descends from the skies. Its roar shakes the earth. Its eyes burn with darkness. It is the Red Queen's greatest weapon and Alice's greatest fear. The two sides clash. Swords ring. Creatures cry. The ground trembles beneath the weight of battle. But at the center of it all, Alice climbs the spiraling ruins of the ancient chessboard battlefield. The Jabberwocky circles above her, ready to strike. She meets its gaze without flinching. The fight begins. The beast lunges, its claws tearing through stone. Alice dodges, rolls, slashes. The vorpal sword hums in her grip, answering her strength. The two battle like shadow and light, flames against steel, fury against faith. Below, the armies pause, watching. The Red Queen gasps, the White Queen prays, and then, with one final leap, Alice soars through the air. The vorpal sword arcs high and strikes. The Jabberwocky falls, its body crashes down, silent, still. The spell is broken. The Red Queen screams, but no one follows her anymore. Her rule crumbles like ash. Her crown is gone. Peace returns to Underland. The war is over, but Alice's journey is not. She has defeated the monster outside, but now she must decide about the world beyond the rabbit hole, because the final choice still awaits: to stay or to return. The battlefield lies silent. The Jabberwocky is defeated. The Red Queen has fallen. The chains of fear that once held Underland are broken. Laughter returns to the land, and sunlight dances through the trees. The people of Underland celebrate. But Alice stands quietly, gazing at the sky. She has fulfilled the prophecy. She fought with courage, found her voice, and remembered her muchness. But now, she must decide. Will she stay in this strange, magical land where she is a hero? Or will she return to a world that tried to mold her into something she never wanted to be? At the White Queen's castle, a final feast is held. The long tables overflow with food and joy. The Mad Hatter, now free and vibrant, twirls in a dance only he can understand. He offers Alice a place in this world, a home where she truly belongs. But Alice hesitates. Her journey wasn't just about fighting monsters. It was about finding herself. She walks the garden paths with Absalom, who is now in the final stage of his transformation. He speaks gently, his words like riddles wrapped in truth. You are Alice, not the same as before, not quite as you were meant to be, but entirely yourself. She smiles. It is time. The White Queen leads her back to the mirror portal, a shimmering gateway between worlds. The Hatter stops her. His eyes, usually full of silliness, now hold sadness. You could stay, he says softly. Alice touches his hand. I'll always come back, in my heart. She steps through the mirror. The colors fade, the ground shifts, and suddenly, she's back. In the real world, the party she left behind is still frozen in time. The suitor, the pressure, the expectations, all waiting for her answer. But Alice is no longer a girl uncertain of her place. She is something new, something stronger. She straightens her shoulders. She says no to the proposal. She says yes to her own path, and the world begins to change, not because it has, but because she has. Alice stands tall. She is no longer the unsure girl who followed a rabbit in search of escape. She has returned from Underland with something far greater than a memory. She has returned with clarity. At the garden party, the whispers rise again. She turn down the marriage proposal. She refuses to follow society's rules. But Alice doesn't hear the noise. She hears her own voice. She speaks to Hamish, to her mother, to the gathered guests, not with defiance, but with purpose. She will not live a life built for her by others. She will build her own, and it starts today. Alice accepts a bold offer from Lord Ascot, a position in his trading company, a voyage to distant lands, a future of adventure, a path no woman has walked before, but Alice will, because she now believes in impossible things. Before breakfast, she says goodbye to her mother with warmth, not rebellion. They are different, but now they understand one another. Her mother sees the change in Alice's eyes. Then, with wind in her hair and courage in her step, Alice boards a ship bound for China. A new journey begins. But Underland is never far away. The sails rise and the ocean stretches before her. Alice gazes at the sky. The wind swirls. A single blue butterfly lands on the ship's rail beside her. It's Absalem, transformed, renewed, and still watching. She smiles, because now she understands. Underland wasn't just a place, it was a reflection of her own soul. The battles she fought there weren't just about queens and monsters, they were about choices, courage, and becoming. And now that she's become who she truly is, she can become anything. As the butterfly drifts into the horizon and the ship sails forward, Alice whispers the mantra that once guided her through the chaos. I believe in 6 impossible things before breakfast. And now she's living the 7th, her own story, one that no one else could write, because the greatest adventure was never just in Wonderland, it was becoming Alice.